Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and it is time for another One Race Wonder, a series where we look at the poor unfortunate saps who only managed to take part in a single Formula 1 Grand Prix, either through bad luck, lack of talent, or because their services were only needed a single time. Maybe a mixture of all three. So remember to subscribe to the channel and go back and watch episodes 1 through 23. So today we are looking at the career of American racer, bobsledder, documentary producer, world-class chef, horse whisperer and big bird impersonator, Bob Said. Okay, only some of those things are true, but Bob Said was a busy boy. Bob Said, or actually Boris Said, was born in America to a Syrian father and Russian mother. He discovered motor racing whilst at Princeton and dropped out of school to head to Europe in search of fame and fortune. He would somehow become the first American to win a race in post-war Europe, taking a win at the 1953 ruined Grand Prix in an Oscar. Seeking bigger things, he switched to a Ferrari in 1954 and had further success, but funds were always hard to come by, so a brief sojourn back to America to make money in properties and the mining industry. Shows how industrious Bob Said was, in his ability to turn his hand to anything. He'd managed to pull off some minor successes in his Ferrari Mondial 500, but big things came his way in 1959, the year that was to be the height of his motor racing career. It started in February when Bob Said raced in the first ever Daytona 500, the first race ever held at the famous Daytona track. It was not to be a successful outing. Whilst Lee Petty and Johnny Beauchamp led home one of NASCAR racing's closest finishes that took 3 days and a lot of umming and ahhing before a winner could be decided, Bob Said didn't even complete a quarter of the distance, with his Chevrolet convertible running into transmission issues. Said finished 50th of 59 runners. Bigger things were to come for Mr. Said, as in December he entered the first ever American Grand Prix at Sebring. There are a lot of Americans who had a single race in Formula 1 because they raced in the Indy 500 when that was part of the calendar. It is somewhat unusual for an American from this period not to have raced in that famous race, but the first ever true American Grand Prix is as good a race to get your one and only start in. Bob Said needed a car and so rented a 2-year-old Connaught from Paul Emery, a car that was never going to be capable of taking victory. He qualified 13th of 19 runners, but his Formula 1 career was incredibly brief, making it to the first corner before spinning out trying to overtake the frontrunners in motorsport. A brave if foolish effort, and one of the rare one race wonders I've actually found footage for.
The Sebring course takes its toll of some of the lesser drivers, but the major interest is in the 2 leading cars.
Yes, that is Bob Said pushing his car out of the way. So, Bob Said's dalliance with Formula 1 glory was short-lived, and there was nothing else of note in the aftermath. He carried on racing at a lower level until 1962, when he moved on to the property business, as well as competing in his new hobby, bobsledding. Bob Said actually represented America at 2 Winter Olympics, the 1968 Grenoble Olympics and the 1972 Olympics in Japan, taking a 10th place in the first of those. He seems to go quiet after that for another 21 years, before reappearing as a writer on a documentary, The Mystery of the Sphinx, presented by Charlton Heston.
Good evening. I'm Charlton Heston. Every 100 years or so, an idea comes along that can shake the world.
Seriously, this guy's CV is amazing. What a spread of careers.
To a very well-known Oxford geologist, and I went into him with a very simple question. On the basis of a clear photograph alone, could he, as a geologist, tell the difference between weathering by water and weathering by wind and sand? The answer was cautiously expressed as a general rule, yes. I asked him if he didn't mind if I'd play a bit of a trick on him, and what I did was I took a photograph of the Sphinx and I masked off the head and the paws, and I asked him what did he think that was responsible for that weathering. And he looked at it a moment and said, well, unquestionably, water. And when I stripped the masking tape off, he looked at it a minute, and he said, oh.
Oh, that was his reaction. Bob Said seems to enter some kind of retirement after that and sadly passed away in 2002, aged 69. What a legend. His legacy lives on with his son, Boris Said III, who has been competing in NASCAR part-time for a while and has even taken wins in Xfinity and the Truck One. He is scheduled to race in the series in 2022. So that was the career of Bob Said and his one Formula 1 Grand Prix. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and go back and watch the playlist listed below. Leave your thoughts in the comments, leave a like and tell your friends. Thank you for watching and have a good one.